Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Raw Politics. Today, I want us to take a brief look into the political future of the MP for Embakasi East, the Honorable Babu Owino. If you followed keenly, you might have realized that of late, Babu Owino has been reading from a different script from that of the ODM party. And so, the question we ask, should the young MP chart his political path, form new alliances, and see where it leads? Or should he toe the line, abide by ODM dictums, and guarantee himself re-election and other things? If that is a subject you are interested in, ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned. If you are watching for the first time, I urge you to take a moment and subscribe. If you are already subscribed, I really thank you for supporting this channel. Otherwise, let us jump right into the subject of the day. To understand whether Babu Owino should chart a new political path, or whether he should toe the party line, allow me to give you a very brief history of the said MP. The MP came into limelight during his days at the University of Nairobi. I believe is one of the longest serving SONU chair, if not the longest serving SONU chair. But during that time, Babu Owino became popular. That is how people knew him, his leadership at the University of Nairobi. Sometimes those elections were very chaotic, but somehow he always emerged the winner. After successful stint at the leadership of the University of Nairobi, Babu Owino vied as a member of parliament for the Westland seat. Of course, he didn't make it. ODM's Tim Wanyonyi got the seat. And so, Babu re-strategized very fast, aligned himself with Raila Odinga, and came for the seat of Embakasi East, which he won, but it was a very narrow victory, which was successfully challenged in court. In fact, if it was not for the handshake, there would have been a repeat poll in Embakasi East. But then Babu, being very dynamic, realized that Embakasi East is a very complicated constituency. So having Raila on your side is one thing, very important, but also you have to deliver so that you get your seat. And Babu very fast did that. He is, according to the people on the ground, Babu is one of those very proactive legislators. He is lobbying for development and for programs and projects in his constituency in a way that very few MPs can even compare. And so this endeared him to the people, irrespective of their political parties. And during the 2022 election, Babu Owino defeated his rival, Moreide, by a landslide this time. So it was not even a contested vote this time. So that is Babu Owino. But of late, it appears like even though Babu Owino does all these things, even though Babu Owino is very vocal, is very loyal to ODM, especially Raila Odinga, whenever there is reward, whenever Babu Owino expresses interest in something in ODM, especially as far as the leadership is concerned, it's like guaranteed that he won't get it. He was to get the chair of PAC. It was given to Mbadi, and so on and so on. And so Babu has always been vocal. He has always aired out his grievances. He said that we as the youth, we do a lot for the party, but when it comes for the time of reward, nobody cares about us. And so Babu Owino has registered his concerns and dissatisfaction with how ODM rewards loyalty, especially when it comes to young leaders. And this continued for a time until I think Babu decided that now he was like going to no longer struggle to please Raila, but to chart his own path. You look at a young leader who was seeing an opportunity that he would popularize himself, and with the goodwill, maybe from the party or from the people, he can even make it as the governor for Nairobi. Actually, he had shown interest to replace Sakaja as the governor for Nairobi. But then the Gen Z thing happened, and Babu really got caught up into this. For some reason, he really liked the uprising against the president. So, when ODM made a decision not to pursue that route, the route of anarchy, and preferred dialogue, Babu Owino found himself at crossroads. Do I toe the party line, or do I chart a new path? And from the look of things, Babu decided that he was not going to toe the party line, and so he would still be very vocal. He would still be encouraging the youth, especially those in the universities, to go to the street, and so forth, to the point that he even declared himself the new opposition leader, in a way to show that Raila was spent. But very quickly, I think Babu realized that there's a very big difference between ideal politics versus real politics. Because in ideal politics, you are supposed to stand by your principles, and people are going to look at that, and then they are going to support you for whatever it is that you stand for. But in real politics, people are looking at, are you, especially the supporters of Babu Owino, majority of them support Babu Owino because Babu Owino is loyal to Raila. So their support is first to Raila, then to those who are loyal to Raila. So that when they see that you are no longer loyal to Raila in their according to their standards of measuring loyalty, if they sense that you are no longer loyal to Raila, they will lose interest in you as a leader. And so Babu's popularity, even those who would consider him the next kingpin, those who would consider that Babu Owino is their leader after Raila, some of them have started developing doubt. They are like, perhaps this person is being used to undermine the Honorable Raila Odinga. Considering Raila Odinga is pursuing a seat at the AUC, and the leading campaigner for Raila Odinga currently is President William Ruto, who Babu Owino has chosen to criticize on a daily basis. Now, nothing wrong with criticizing the president. His work is an MP. He needs to do the oversight role. However, there are people who are seeing this as antagonizing the chances of Raila Odinga. Because if you are a member of ODM and a vocal one at that, and Raila is pursuing something that is being supported by William Ruto, and then you are making that particular William Ruto an enemy, it's being seen as trying to sabotage Raila indirectly. So Raila is pursuing something, is being supported by Ruto, and you are attacking that Ruto, and you are calling that Ruto all names. The supporters of Raila are starting to see this as if it is an indirect attack at their leader, which in most cases, as you know, ODM people, they won't take that very kindly. So that is just a brief history. The question is, what does Babu do now? Because even recently, you saw he didn't participate in the impeachment motion. From the look of things, ODM party had made it very clear that they were supporting the impeachment, and majority of the ODM legislators, if not all, voted to impeach Rigathi Gachagua, because it seems like that was the position of the party. But Babu Owino did not. It was likely that Babu Owino was going to rebel with that ODM position and was going to vote to save Rigathi Gachagua. Something that would have put him at, would have proven to people who are starting to doubt him that actually he is a gone case, he is no longer with Raila. So, remember I told you, President Ruto is doing Raila's bidding at AU, doing everything he can so that Raila becomes the AUC chair. And so ODM as a party and by extension Raila supporters feel like they should, in that space, work with Ruto to help. They should help Ruto achieve things locally as Ruto helps Raila achieve things internationally. And so if Babu Owino was to go and vote against Raila's position, though he never gave it verbatim, but from the indication from the debate you had in Parliament, it was the position of ODM that they were going to impeach Rigathi Gachagua. They were going to vote to impeach Rigathi Gachagua. So Babu Owino gave some explanation that there are more important things to do than those, but that one is neither here nor there because Babu is not known to be indecisive. Yeah, he may be many things, but making decision is not one of his challenges. So he would have just gone there and he would have voted. So why was he not in Parliament to side with Rigathi Gachagua? Because obviously he was not pro what ODM had decided. I think to answer this question, ladies and gentlemen, I take you back to what I was saying, that Babu Owino realized that there is a very big difference between what is ideal and what is real. Because if he is seen to be antagonizing Raila, he's going to lose the support of those who support Raila and support him. And without that support, he cannot rely on the support that he can get by associating with Rigathi. Take an example of Embakasi East. Let's say Babu Owino now no longer goes for the governor of Nairobi and decides that he wants to retain his Embakasi East seat. Majority of the voters in Embakasi East would be supporters of Raila Odinga in that case. So if you lose them, then now you must find support within Kikuyu and Kambas, and that might not be enough to get him re-elected. So he has to play his ball. If you asked me, what is Babu Owino supposed to do now? Should this man chart his political path? And by charting his political path, I mean deciding that he's no longer going to rely on Raila Odinga. He wants to create his own brand as Babu Owino. Whatever comes, let it be. Charting that political path, in my opinion, would be the best move for a young man who still has a career in politics. However, as things stand today, it is a very dangerous move. Let me explain. I'm one of those people who don't support hero worshipping, relying on a certain politician for your survival, hanging on somebody's coat to be elected. It is what has given us the worst leaders we have in some of the constituencies or even some MCS. So I do not support that, the idea of always hanging on somebody's coat, saying things to appease the public so that you get elected. I don't usually support that. However, I'm realistic enough to know that as things stand today, the interests of Raila Odinga and William Ruto are aligned. And when the interests of Raila Odinga and Ruto are aligned, fighting that particular combination, especially if you are a young MP like Babu Owino without serious base or political muscle, that is, in my opinion, political suicide. And anyone who would tell Babu Owino to chart his political path is telling him that he should forfeit re-election in maybe 2027 and wait until things calm down and then reinvent himself maybe in 2032. That it can still work, but it means that you are going to take a small break because Raila Odinga, with the support of William Ruto, now that their interests are aligned, like I was saying, they are a serious force that if they narrowed down on Babu Owino as a threat, it would be a matter of, it wouldn't take them time before they neutralize him, politically speaking. Babu Owino was to chart his political path, which is the ultimate goal, he can still do it by towing the party line. Yes, that is not a contradiction. Because if he dares chart his political path today by disobeying Raila Odinga, dismissing other ODM leaders, etc., within a short time he will find himself isolated. And once he's isolated without the protection of the party, without the protection of other leaders from the region, you become a very easy target, somebody that can be destroyed politically very fast. Because also you can't rely on the relationship, the cordial relationship of the Wamuchombas of this world to get him votes. I don't think you can get votes through that. So to maybe to get votes even for the MP seat, let alone Nairobi. So in most cases, what you do, you go the Magufuli route. Magufuli route works this way. Magufuli knew how powerful CCM is. And so being in CCM for all that time, he knew that he had to toe the line. But when he got the chance, he started making the changes that he wanted to make. That is what you do. That is what Ruto did. He was very loyal to Moi, worked with Kibaki, worked under Uhuru. Now that he has a chance, he's now doing his own policies. So you don't have to, most of the time, struggle to fight the establishment when you know very well that such a fight is not going to help you. Number two, there is also something that I need to make clear here, because Babu might be having this thought that by being against President Ruto and Raila, who is now being seen as President Ruto's enabler, he is going to appeal to the Gen Z voters, and that considering that majority of Kenyans are in that bracket of the Gen Zs, okay, he may have a wonderful follow. He can have a base, a base made up of Gen Zs from everywhere. That is possible. However, there's one thing. I want to refer the Honorable Babu Owino to Malema. You saw how Malema was moving the crowd and etc., and how he was really, really holding rallies with millions. When it came the voting time, Malema found himself at number 4. Why do I say that? Most young people, especially the so-called Gen Zs, don't vote. I can tell you that most of them don't vote. So that is why what you need most of the time is to capture the attention of those who actually vote, which are people in the millennials and the old people. Those are the people who have the patience to line up and stay on the line for hours and vote. You can't rely on the young people, because remember, even the other day they had this so-called uprising of the Gen Z's uprising. Oh, we are going to march, we are going to destroy Ruto, we are leaderless, we are what, we don't want any politician, etc. Now it is dead simply because Raila did not join them, and the entire thing just died. Once the sponsors in the NGO were exposed, the entire thing just died. So these are people who will not sustain something for long. So if Babu is going for this particular audience, if this is the audience he wants to appease, then he's appeasing the wrong audience. Not that they will not be very important in the future, but as of now, these are not the people you can bet on. It's a 50-50. They can either turn up or not turn up. And if they are the people you are depending on, you will end up like Malema. Very popular, very vocal. People think you are going to win. Like Peter Obi, very vocal, very popular. People think you are going to win because the young people are behind you. They are all over social media praising you. When it comes to voting, Obi found himself at number 3. When it came to voting, Malema found himself at number 4. So when it comes to voting, I want to tell you that you need to focus on the millennials and others, because these people they have the patience to sit down and vote. But that's all I wanted to tell Babu, that in my opinion, toe the party line. Once you achieve whatever you want, once you get into the position of making serious decision, let's say you toe the party line and you eventually become the governor for Nairobi, you can then now make changes as the governor for Nairobi. You told the party line one day, you inherit the Luo vote, you use your power, you use your charisma to convince other communities to vote for you, and you become president. You can make the changes. But going, fighting a combined force of William Ruto and Raila Odinga as of now is a lose-lose for you, in my opinion. So if somebody is advising you that just be rebellious, you can bring these people down, Gen Zs are behind you. No, nobody. Gen Zs are not people you are going to rely on. You cannot stake your political career unless now you are also not interested in advancing your political career. Otherwise, my opinion, Babu Owino should just toe the party line, and once he reaches where he wants to reach, he can now implement his aggressive policies. Otherwise, if he continues as a rebel, or he faces Raila Odinga head-on, or a combined force of Raila and Ruto, politically he will be crushed. That's all I had to say. If you found this video useful, please let me know in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe if you are watching for the first time. Thank you. Let us meet in the next video.